Paraguay just pulled off one of the biggest stunners of this tournament, defeating Germany in a penalty shootout. And now they're walking into Philadelphia to face the most dangerous individual player on the planet. This is not a normal football match. This is a psychological collision between two completely opposite ideas about how to win. France entered this World Cup as the number 3 team on the planet. Paraguay came in ranked 41st. On paper, this is over before it starts. But here's the thing. The football on paper stopped mattering the moment Paraguay knocked Germany out. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why this game is far more dangerous for France than any scoreline suggests. There's one specific psychological trap waiting for Mbappé in Philadelphia, and almost nobody's talking about it. Let's start with what France actually are, because it matters for everything that follows. France won their group and looked convincing doing so, taking all 9 points and finishing with a +8 goal differential. Then they dismantled Sweden in the round of 32, and Mbappé was frankly terrifying. He's now scored 18 goals in just 18 World Cup matches, 1 goal per game, every game. He has scored 10 goals in the knockout stages of the World Cup alone, the most of any player in history. That's not just good form. That's a self-reinforcing confidence loop that psychologists actually have a name for: the hot hand state. When a player feels genuinely unstoppable, decisions speed up, fear disappears, and they play completely free. Mbappé right now is operating in that zone. He expects to score, so he shoots more, hesitates less, and plays without the handbrake on. So Paraguay's job isn't to defend. Their job is to break that flow, to make him doubt for even 1 second. Because a doubting Mbappé is a slower, more hesitant, and suddenly very beatable player. And here's where it gets interesting, because Paraguay's real weapon isn't their defensive shape. It's what beating Germany did to their heads. Paraguay recorded the first big shock of the 2026 World Cup knockout stages when they sent Germany packing in a nail-biting penalty shootout in Boston. Think about what that does to a squad's belief. You go into that game, everyone in the world expects you to lose, and you win anyway. Not just win, you beat the greatest shootout team in World Cup history. Paraguay's win over Germany was the 4th largest upset in World Cup knockout round history by FIFA rankings. That kind of result doesn't just change the scoreboard, it rewires a squad at a cellular level. They now know, deep down, that no reputation intimidates them. And a team that isn't scared of your name has already neutralized your biggest weapon before kickoff. France's biggest weapon is the aura, the weight of expectation on the other team. And Paraguay walked through that fire against Germany and came out the other side. Now here's the psychological architecture of the game itself. And this is the part I want you to really sit with, because it explains why the next 90 minutes could go in a direction most people aren't prepared for. France win by concentrating belief and responsibility in one extraordinary individual. Paraguay win by dissolving 11 individuals into a single organism. These are mirror image mental models. France load everything onto Mbappé, the creativity, the finishing, the moments of genius. Paraguay distribute it across the whole team, where no single player is the target and no single player can be neutralized. The entire match is a test of which model survives sudden death football. One genius, or one hive mind. And here's the trap Paraguay are setting. A deep, disciplined defensive block doesn't only block space, it attacks the attacker's mind. When a player of Mbappé's quality can't find a way through, frustration builds. He starts forcing low-percentage shots. He drifts out of position, chasing the ball. He starts trying to win the game alone. That's exactly what Paraguay want. The wall isn't just a physical barrier, it's bait. It invites the genius to abandon his teammates and take on 11 men by himself, which is the precise moment a collective can swallow him whole. And then there's the weight that France carry into this game, which is something that almost never gets talked about, honestly. If Paraguay beat France, it would be the 2nd biggest upset in World Cup knockout round history by FIFA rankings. France know that. Every player in that dressing room knows that. France are looking to reach the final for the 3rd straight World Cup. The pressure of that legacy sits on their shoulders every minute. Paraguay carries 0 of that. They've already beaten Germany. Everything from here is a bonus. The psychological weight is completely asymmetric, and in a tight game, that freedom is a real, measurable edge. Now, I promised you the twist. The thing that makes Paraguay genuinely dangerous in a way that goes beyond the 90 minutes. If the wall holds and this game reaches a penalty shootout, the psychology flips hard toward Paraguay. They just walked through that exact fire against Germany. They won. That shared memory, we've done this, we don't crack, is a massive psychological asset. France, by contrast, would carry a fresh, quiet fear walking up to that spot. What if we're the next Germany? A team that has recently conquered the shootout fears it far less than one that hasn't. And that fear, even if it's never spoken out loud, shows up in the run-up, in the hesitation, in the placement. Paraguay are just one win away from equaling their best-ever World Cup performance, reaching the quarterfinals as they did in 2010. They have everything to play for and nothing to lose. So here's where we land. France are the better team on paper. Mbappé is the best player in this tournament right now. But this game is a test of two psychological models, and the conditions are almost perfectly designed to stress test France's. Paraguay need the wall to hold, the frustration to build, and the clock to tick. France need Mbappé to stay in flow, stay patient, and not let the weight of expectation drag him into trying to win it alone. The question isn't whether France are good enough. They clearly are. The question is whether one man's genius can stay free when 11 organized, fearless players are doing everything in their power to make him feel doubt for the first time in weeks. That's what's actually at stake on July 4th in Philadelphia. Football's oldest question, asked in psychological form. If you want to understand the other side of this, how Paraguay actually set up their defensive block, and why it's so hard to break down technically, not just mentally, that video is right there. And if you're watching this before the match, drop your prediction in the comments. I genuinely want to know, do you trust the genius or the hive mind? Hit subscribe if you want the breakdown after the final whistle, because however this ends, there's going to be a lot to unpack.